Brian Ensey's in the building, we know, so we're going to start. A week from Monday, the Springdale School District will open with 23,000 students. 23,000 students. For those of you being honored tonight, maybe some of the younger ones had a population close to that, but you think about that, second largest school district in the state of Arkansas. We're very proud of that, very proud of the accomplishments. About 9,000 of them, I believe, will be 7th grade and up. Of those 9,000, 3,500 of them or so will be involved in athletics. Think about that. That is nearly 40% of your student population, 7th grade up, are involved in some kind of athletics. So when you think of numbers like that, and you think of tonight, we are honoring 10. 10. So the people that we're honoring tonight are the best of the best. And we're very happy to have you here tonight. Now, I'm going to assume everyone in here can read. So our product of Springdale Schools, right? So all of us should be able to read. I'm not going to read any biographies. We're just going to go right into introductions. First up being inducted tonight is Jim Culp Jr. Jim?
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm really honored to be in amongst all of you people. And, I wanted to thank my dad, first of all. He was a coach and a great athlete back in his day. And, of course, I've got a whole big old family full of athletes. And, David, I appreciate you nominating me and the committee, that elected me to stand up here. And I wanted to let all of my coaches that I had when I played basketball and ran track. Coach Champ Thomas was my track coach. It was his first year of coaching. Great guy. I enjoyed being around him. And Coach Williams was the athletic director, and thank you, Coach Williams, and the athletic department and the booster club and everything for supplying us with the equipment that we needed to play ball and run track. Coach Thomas and Sanders was my basketball coach. Coach Dorman was one of my coaches, and I really appreciated him. And again, I see Coach Smith back there in the back. He's looking. And Coach Smith was coaching at the junior high when I was there. And of course, the younger coaches, I saw Matthews and of course David McGinnis. And some of the younger coaches, they probably don't. Of course, I'm old, been out of school for a long time. But I just wanted to say again that I'm really honored to be in amongst all this crowd and all the people that have come and gone before, come before me, and the ones that will come after me. And Springdale is a really good school district, and I enjoyed everything about it once we moved up here. And that's about all I've got to say. And I appreciate it.
There you go. Okay, guys, y'all look ragged. Don't go this way, just okay. Right there, we go. Okay, good. 1, 2, and 3. Look at me, sir, right here. Check that real quick. Yep, we're good.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
I wanted to say one more thing. I didn't mean to leave anybody out. I've got so many people that I think the world of, and especially my family. And, I've got all state, all American, and, you know, several in our family, so, and the ones that came from Springdale also. Thank you.
Coach Matthews, how long has it been since you've been called one of the younger coaches? That's pretty good, isn't it, huh? A lot of them. That's really a nice thing to say. Next up is John Dillinger.
Appreciate it. You got it. Thank you. Finally, something better than my 1968 Little Mr. Springdale victory. So, something else to hang my hat on. The only thing they had over this is I got my own car in the rodeo with the Ozarks Parade and the Christmas Parade. So I don't know if I'm going to get that this year or not. But I just appreciate everybody on the committee that nominated me. I'm a Springdale guy forever. Can't imagine a world without sports. I think back on my life, it's pretty much all I did. When I was a kid, I think we had 4 elementary schools. We had a T-ball field. We had Wayne Hyden Field, our Little League park. It's nothing like this. My first introduction with sports was I was born, I guess, and my next door neighbor was really the only other kid in the neighborhood, and he was considerably older than me, a guy named Daryl Safley. And by the time I could walk, we'd be in the yard, and he would throw me underhand balls. We'd play wiffle ball, play catch, run routes. He knocked my front teeth out with a baseball, so that was nice. That kind of got my start there. But always, Springdale is a football town, basketball town. I hope that I helped make us a baseball town. Played a lot of baseball, had a lot of success there. My first real organized sports thing was playing T-ball. I was on the White Sox. And unlike today, when everybody has $500 bat in your own bag and all that, we had wood bats. If you broke it, you put a nail in it, wrap some tape around it, here we go. So you younger people don't know about all that, but that's the way we rolled back then. So I remember the first game I was on the White Sox, and Coach said, all right, guys, we play Saturday at 9. Your uniform is a white T-shirt, get a black magic marker, and have your mom put socks on it. So I show up at the game, and we spelt socks a little different than everybody else, like we were the White Sox. So everybody's shirt said S-O-X, mine said S-O-C-K-S. So for those of you that don't know Spanish, S-O-C-K-S means your mom must not know very much about baseball. So that's kind of where I got my start. But we had a lot of success, young, playing sports. We always went to all the high school games. It didn't matter what it was, American Legion games, high school football games, basketball games, and we always looked up to those guys. One day we're going to be those guys, So we'd play, just piddle around. Most of the time we didn't really watch the games. We were creating our own games, tackle the man at the ball or hot box, or we'd go to the Little League park, and if you get a foul ball, you get a free Frosty Popper snow cone. So we'd be back there wadding up paper cups and playing cup baseball, and you could throw it at them and do this, that, but we were always playing ball. If I had a ball in my hand, I was throwing it on the roof and making diving catches in the yard, or doing this and that. So, and then we always had these tremendous coaches and support. A guy named John Allen was the head of the Little League back when I was younger. John retired a few years back, and he called me one day and said, hey man, come down to my office, I want to show you something. And I walked in his office, and there were all of our Little League trophies on his wall, and he said, hey, I don't need these anymore, I want you to take them. And that was really cool to be able to get the guy, be the guy who got those or whatever. But baseball, I think we put baseball on the map in Springdale. In Little League, when we were 11, we were runner-up in the state. When we were 12, we won state, and we not only won state, but we annihilated people. We had the fortune to go to Fort Lauderdale and run into a Huntsville, Alabama team that was not as good as us, not as deep as us, but they had a kid with a mustache, and that's who threw the first game. And so we were deep, we were good. Single elimination back then, and I doubled early, knocked in a guy, we're up 1-0 the entire game. Bottom of the last inning, no one on, we walk a guy. Anybody watch the College World Series this year? You're getting ready to relive it, and I relived it. I relive it a lot. Next guy hits a blooper over the second baseman's head. Right fielder, second baseman look at each other. Runner's running on contact. Right fielder picks it up, throws it over the catcher's head. We get beat 2-1, we're coming home. And we were, golly, I can't tell you how good we were. If it's double elimination, I think we beat Chinese Taipei and win it all still. I mean, we were good. So we won state again when I was 13. That was Babe Ruth. That's real bases, pitch out of the stretch, run bases, steal, do whatever. We won state, went to McAllister, Oklahoma, got to McAllister, and there wasn't a tournament for whatever reason. I don't know what happened there, but that little deal was over. 14, we laid an egg. 15, we won state and went to Bay City, Texas. A lot of this, Bob Johnson's over there shaking his head, and Bob Johnson, that dude could coach some baseball. He and his brother Wayne were our coaches from Babe Ruth on through Legion, and we literally played hundreds of baseball games together. I owe so much to him to teach me about things, and especially baseball, man. I love you. So we all played football, pretty good at football. Coach Matthews, you're looking good, buddy. I didn't recognize you. I thought, man, that guy's awful young to be Coach Matthews, but I guess it is you. But, yeah, we were good in football at Southwest. I was all conference, all this, that, and the other. We were also really good at basketball. We went undefeated in conference my 9th grade year, and we were good. I won the MVP at the Razorback basketball camp right after that, and so for whatever brilliant reason, our starting backfield, Brent Chenault, quarterback, and Alan Carmack and I at running backs, we all decided we weren't going to play football. We're just going to play basketball. And if anybody ever says, hey, if you could go back and do one thing, what would you do over? I would play football for Gerald Williams. I live with it. I hate it. I don't know why I didn't do that. I would have started for 3 years. I'd have been a dang good player. I could have contributed. And why I didn't do that. So you young people, play everything you can. You're only young one time. And I wish so much. It sucks. I'm not supposed to say sucks probably, am I? But anyway. But moving forward, played a little ball, went to Northeastern Oklahoma on a basketball scholarship, played baseball. All my friends were at Arkansas Tech playing baseball, so guess what? I transferred to Arkansas Tech and played baseball. And graduated there with a couple degrees, married my junior high sweetheart. We've got 2 boys, coached every sport known to mankind. Kids Day, T-ball, coach pitch, you name it. High school AAU basketball. Once again, I can't imagine life without sports. Integral part of my life. I'm now the chairman of the board of something called the Springdale Basketball Association. This year we had 400 2nd through 6th grade kids participate in our league, many of which are beyond poverty level. Sandy Wright has been on my board before I won Little Mr. Springdale in 1968, I think. So, teasing you. But a lot of the people in here, it's made up of all of our coaches, junior high and high school, and then a few just normal citizens. It's the brainchild of a guy named Mark Moses, and some of y'all probably know us by the Sonics and not the Springdale Basketball Association, but Mark Moses has all the Sonics restaurants, and he is very benevolent, to say the least. It costs us about $30,000 a year to run this league for these kids, and we do it through him and fundraising, and we have a golf tournament every year. But if you're ever bored on a Saturday morning in the fall and winter, go to the Next Level Arena next to Southwest Junior High, and your heart will smile. Pretty cool. We have 6 courts, kids running wild, laughing, crying, bleeding, grandparents. You can't even get in the place. So a special thing in my heart for that. So, and let's go back to this coaching situation. Bob and Wayne Johnson, unbelievable. A guy named Ellis Bowen. The Bowen boys are Springdale baseball people. If you think about Springdale baseball, the Bowen boys were always awesome. My 12-year-old year, I was a good baseball player, never hit a long ball in my life. And one day at practice, Ellis came up and showed me how to transfer my weight. And next thing you know, I know one time through our run through the state tournament, I had hit 3 home runs in a row. And I owed all that to Ellis Bowen, just teaching me how to hit. It's something I never thought about. I just got out there and hit the dang ball and went down the road. But so many people. Carol McFerrin, if I ever got in this deal, let's call it the Hall of Fame, and I've thought about it for 10 years probably, because I always thought I'd get here somehow, some way, but I was always going to talk about Carol McFerrin. 40 years coaching youth football in Springdale, Arkansas. Dan Downing, on and on. Coach Burke, just so many people that had so many other things that they could do with their life except just drop everything at 3 o'clock on a Monday, Tuesday. I don't know, Bob, how many days we practice? 5 days a week? 3 to 5 every dang day, rain, sleet, snow, didn't matter. I mean, he could have played golf. He could have done anything, but he took the time to invest in young people's lives, and pretty cool. So I'd encourage all of you guys to do the same. Go to these high school games, see these kids, see these coaches, donate them money, me included, the Springdale Basketball Association. It costs a lot of money to run a program nowadays, and everything we do at Springdale is first class, and it's because of people like you guys, for instance, taking the time tonight to come out here and celebrate with us. So I think that's all I got. God bless you guys. God bless Springdale, Arkansas. Thanks. Oh, is that it? Yeah. Here you go. Now come over this way just a minute. Check for eyes. Thank you. All right. Thanks for what you do. Bless you.
So, keep eating and drinking at Sonic, right? Keep that basketball program strong. There you go. Next up is Joan Tubb Ricks.
So I told John when I got up here I have to go after the most charismatic person in the room, of course. But, you know, I look at John and I look at all those people, and John was a year older than me, and Tammy, I think, was a year older than him. And I've got Ginger Allen, who I cheered with in the back. I've got so many friends and so many people that I first have to say just truly thank you for those who invested in people and kids. And it's easier for me to talk about what I've done in investing in people than what I've done for myself. But I first have to start with my family. I mean, my parents, my mom, who took me everywhere, late most of the time. I did get left going to Fort Smith, and my mom had to drive me over the mountain to get me to a meet. But you know, she took me everywhere. She did everything for me. My dad, who encouraged me and you know, taught me that all-important lesson of life is not fair, you know, every time I was upset. But so many people who did that for me and invested in me. So many teachers here. I think about when we were in junior high and they first said, hey, everybody's running track that's in athletics. And I said, okay. So we all had to run as fast as we could, and about 5 or 6, you know, I was kind of up there at the top, but not fast enough to run any relays. And they said, well, today we're all trying hurdles. And I said, okay, let's do that. And had never done it, never done anything with it. Coach Spence said, you're up. I went and he said, okay, you're in. And I had no idea how to do it. I just actually had a little bit of ability doing something that I had never tried before. So it was just, sometimes it's an opportunity. You know, somebody just actually makes you step out and say, let's try something and see if you can do it. I have to thank my husband, who continually supports me. I decided at 51 I was going to go back and get my master's, and he encouraged it. I have to thank my son, who's 20, who said, yeah, Mom, go for it. You know, I don't need anything my senior year. So I appreciate them and all the things that they've done for me. You know, Springdale doesn't have gymnastics anymore, but I have to say, to be honest, sports saved me. And you may have been the kind of kid I was. I was just active and had no plan. It was like get up and go as hard and fast as you can go all day long. And all my friends were going to go to Julie Seipert and take tumbling. And we paid $1 a week to go. She had a couple of mats, and I think her dad made a beam. And first time I went, I could do everything she said. The second time I went, she was like, well, what can you do? You know, so it was just kind of that opportunity. I appreciate that my parents saw that and encouraged that and kept, you know, encouraging me to do those things. But I had no purpose. And for me, that became a purpose, because that was one of the first things somebody said, you're pretty good at this. And it encouraged me to continue to do that. So I appreciate my brother, who's here tonight. He was a great athlete, a lot of fun. He was kind of the one of us at home that pretended like he was really innocent and quiet. But he took me to do a lot of things, and we got in a little bit of trouble. I took a few spankings for him. I think we got locked in a porta potty when they were building the First National Bank in Springdale, and he had to break out the window so we could get out. I don't know who locked the door from the inside, but I appreciate people that took the time to invest in me. And the coaches that I had, you know, Donna Williams, Donna Meineke now, went to Springdale and said, hey, I think we should have a gymnastics team. And I remember I was in 7th grade, already had all my classes, and a couple weeks into school, they said, we're gonna do gymnastics, and you have to give up 2 electives. And so we were able to do that. They bused us to the high school, we did gymnastics every day. I was able to do a lot of things because of that confidence that I gained from that. And I just wrote down a couple of things that I wanted to share with you that sports have done for me, and with the reminder that sports do not define us, they are not who I am, but it taught me so many life lessons that I would have never gotten somewhere else. So just a couple of things. It taught me discipline. It taught me perseverance. When you have mental blocks, you got to get through a lot of those things. You have injuries, you have to, persevere. Sometimes you have to find something else you're good at when it doesn't work out anymore. I learned patience. I learned determination. I learned a work ethic. I learned that you can't be afraid to fail or lose because you're going to. I learned that you don't always have to win to win. There's a lot of wins along the way, even if you aren't the winner. I learned that small successes are still successes. I learned that other people's successes help the team. I learned that life is not fair. I learned that there will always be someone who works harder, and there'll always be somebody who is better than you. But the main thing that I learned is that successes and accomplishments are much better when you share them with people. And that's one of the main things sports does, is it gives you a chance to do that. I so appreciate the committee. Jana, you're awesome. I mean, if you ever get a chance, I mean, not only does she take such pride in this, she is the sweetest person. Just get me your stuff whenever you can. She's fantastic, and she did a great job. And just, what a great honor. I definitely don't think I'm deserving. I don't think that I would ever think I deserved it, but I am truly humbled and appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I finally get a picture of you.
Yes, I love it. Thank you.
She was saying it's tough to follow John. I think it may be tough to follow Joan there, right? That was very good. But next up with a chance to do that is Brian Ensey.
Good evening. This is truly an honor to be here tonight. I do want to thank some people, Lloyd Phillips, the Kendricks. They was awful good to me in school, took me to practice. It was the only way I got there. I want to tell a little bit of a story about Coach McGinnis. He was my first coach here at Central. I think I was his first team here at Central. He always liked to play quarterback. He was, I think I owe him a watch. I do believe I broke a watch that he had. I do apologize about that, Coach. Also, a story about Coach Williams. I know he's not here. Probably the best coach in the state of Arkansas, I believe. My junior year, we had went to Joplin, Missouri, and we were winning, but we ended up losing, and I thought he was going to kill us that next Monday when we got home. But I think we ran forever. I still have dreams about running and puking. But he did teach us a lesson, and it's to never give up. And being a Springdale Bulldog was something you look forward to on Friday nights. It was truly an honor, and taught me a lot of lessons. And I will keep it short, but thank you to the committee for selecting me. And it is truly an honor. Thank you very much.
Tilt you back forward just a little bit more. That's it. That's 1, 2. Yep, we're good.
Very good. Next up is Justin Combs.
Let me start by saying what an honor. Springdale kid, Springdale to the core. Proud of where I came from. You know, the guys I got to grow up with, coaches I got to play for, teams I got to represent. Always thought we were a little bit different here in Springdale, a little tougher than the other guy, a little more real. Coach Williams told us one time, I can't remember who we were getting ready to play, but he said, boys, you're not as big as they are, you're not as fast as they are, you're not even as good looking as they are, but you're tougher than they are and you got a bigger heart. If you stick together, you got a chance. And that's what I saw as a kid growing up in the 80s, watching those, going to all those games on Thursday and Friday nights, just wanting to be out there. And I'm talking football tonight, but I played whatever sport was in season growing up. Played every basketball team they'd make or every baseball team they'd get together. I was on it. Played till I was basketball through 9th grade and played baseball till I was in 16. But I suppose I'm here for football, so that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. Those, I'm just telling you, those, as a kid in those 80s and seeing all those Bulldog teams winning all those conference championships, 8 out of 10 in the 80s. It's incredible. I was there, watching them. Those Southwest Central games were battles. I just wanted to be in there, you know, couldn't wait. My folks go to a lot of ball games. Always have, still do. Got these memories of not even being old enough to go, and Bulldogs are playing out of town, and they're loading up and going, listening to it on the radio with my granddad, or got this visual, vivid memory of Mom going down. The Bulldogs are in the playoffs, and it's November, it's cold, it's wet. You know, she's down there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon saving seats because the stadium's going to be full. Got to get some seats, you know. So it's not a big jump to see why, you know, and I was basically a kid that had a ball in my hand since I could walk. So it wasn't a big, you parlay those two things, you can see why I was eat up with it, probably still am. But in our house, it was Cougars, Bulldogs, and Razorbacks. That's pretty much it. So, Southwest Junior High, get to go play for Coach Matthews, dreaming about it. 7th grade, we're not able, we're at the school, we're not playing. We're not participating yet, we're just at school. And I'll never forget, I think Forringer was with me, him pulling us over early on as a 7th grader and saying, boys, I've heard you can play some ball and I'm looking forward to coaching you. I remember him walking away and Forringer and I looking at each other saying, did that just happen? Junior high was everything it's supposed to be for me. I mean, Coach, he gave us discipline, held us accountable, taught us fundamentals, taught us how to get in the weight room, get a little stronger. You know, it was just, I had a ball. Love playing for you. Proud of what we did there. We never lost a game at Southwest, ever. It was just those, formative years there, and it was just the best of times. I cherish those memories. I got to tell you though, the best is practicing all week, getting ready, going out there on Thursday night and getting the win, and getting on that bus, feeling good about what you did. Coach Matthews coming on the bus, letting his guard down a little bit. I mean, celebrating. You're feeling good about what you're doing, and then you see Coach Matthews come in there. Those bus rides back to Southwest, I'll never forget them. I mean, for a 14, 15-year-old kid, it just filled you up. Just filled you up. I want to do it again next week. I want to feel this good again. I want him to feel this good again. So those the best times. So going on to high school, we're getting it, you know, Central's coming together. We're all going to be Bulldogs. Central's good. You know, they got Jones, they got Robertson and Tucker. I mean, they're good. They're not as good as Southwest, but they're good. They're good. They can play. Sorry. Had to do that.
I'll let you take a shot. Your moment.
So, all right, going to high school. Going to be Bulldogs. Going to play for Coach Williams. Everybody's got a Coach Williams story, so here comes mine. Sophomore year, we're in there early. I mean, it's late July, early August. We're in the field house. We're just getting going. He's talking about how we're going to ramp up, get into two-a-days. It's going to be hot, and then he goes into some traditions and some expectations. You know, you got some responsibilities if you're going to wear a Bulldog uniform and play on that field. If you played for Coach Williams, you know one of the worst things you can do in his eyes is get some kind of stupid, selfish, unsportsmanlike penalty called on yourself that hurts the team. It ain't going to work. Going to be a price to pay. So he's talking. He goes, any defensive guys, you guys make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. I don't see you getting up, beating your chest, dancing. You get back to your teammates and celebrate if you want to celebrate. And he goes on. He says, any of you defensive backs, I've been seeing a lot of talking last few years. A lot of talking. He said, hey, you do your talking with your headgear. Shut your mouth. Let your actions work for you. Then he goes on. He says, any of you backs or wide receivers, you're fortunate enough to find yourself in an end zone, you got two options with that ball. You lay it down where you cross the goal line, or you hand it back to a referee. Then you get back to your team, because the only reason you're there, 10 guys did their job right. Then he goes on, he says, one of my favorite quotes of all time. He said, boys, just remember, if you're worth bragging about, somebody will do it for you. I mean, I'm just sitting there, and I just thought, golly, that's the truth. You know, I've never forgotten it. But my girls have heard it 100 times. So I feel fortunate to be, you know, in the brotherhood, if you will, of guys that got to come through and play for coaches like Coach Matthews and Coach Williams and Coach Hartsfield. You know, they mentored and coached a lot of kids, me being one of them. Okay, so the best thing that ever happened to me from an athletic standpoint was the fact that I was born December of 1971. And that by chance meant I got to go to school at the same time as Clint Brewer, Craig Floringer, Mike Jones, Dale Robertson, Donald Tucker, Stephen Green, Andy Gaston, Craig McKee, a bunch of guys. Good athletes, good football players in their own right. But together, chemistry was just right. Get us all together, and the chemistry was just right. We were able to do something that was bigger than any one of us. You know, it affected more people, lasts longer, more people take pride in it. That 89 season, we were able to go on a run, win the state championship. You know, we didn't mop the floor with everybody. We had some adversity. That's what, good teams do. They face some adversity and they come back. We did that several times, and by the end of that year, we were a fine football team now. I mean, hitting on all cylinders. And it's just, when all the dust settles on all that, it was just a lot of fun. To be honest with you, it's just a lot of fun. I wouldn't change anything in the world. Then to be standing up here and have some people think that something I contributed to that is worthy of being in a Hall of Fame, it's it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I just appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's a fun night. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. By the way, we get to hear good Gerald Williams stories. He is always here for this, but his granddaughter's getting married tonight, and I know it's hard to believe he chose that instead of here, but he did, and that's why Gerald's not here to hear these great stories about himself. Okay, it's now halftime. We've been sitting for a long time. Let's take 15 seconds if everybody wants to stand up. That way we can get relaxed again. If you sit too long, you lose your attention span, right? 15 seconds, that's all. Just stand up. Get your blood moving again. We'll put the time on it. I'm sorry, there's no marching band for halftime. Okay, everybody relaxed. Everybody can sit down again. Got the blood flowing. Halftime is over. That was the fastest halftime in the history of athletics. And to start our second half is Mike Jones.
Well, thank you. And wow, what an honor to stand up here in front of you guys today. You know, I agree with you. God bless Springdale. I mean, what a great start in life that I was given to grow up here. You know, I look at Clyda, I look at, Truman and Mrs. Brewer, and I was blessed with people in my life that had lasting impacts on it. And those things stay with you forever. It's not about just the accomplishments or awards you're given. It's those things, the imprints that you leave on people. And, following up this guy, he was my quarterback, so I was the lineman, and we get to share a lot of stories together. We've been friends since the 5th grade, so I want to take this opportunity to tell you how thankful I am that I got to be here, and congratulations to all of you. This is an honor for all of us to be up here. Thank you to Coach Williams, Coach Lester, Winberry, and McGinnis. Thank you for the tradition. Thank you for the tradition that you established for the generations that came each and every year through this program. Like Justin mentioned, Coach Williams talked to our group specifically when we were sophomores, and he assigned us a mission. He assigned us a mission. You guys stick together, you'll win a state championship. And I don't know what he thought about that, but when he gave us that assignment, he didn't just give us an assignment to win a state championship. He helped us come together as a group of young men that have been friends for 25 years. Dale, Craig, Clint, Justin, like I said, we talk to each other each and every week. And that's just something that you can't put a price on that. You can't put, how often do those things come along in people's lives that they can say that I've been friends with a guy for 25 years? Those are the things that last. Coach Smith, thank you for living out your faith. Thank you for leading us in FCA and your faith in Jesus Christ. It makes a difference. It has an impact on us. So thank you. Coach Hartfield, Coach Webb, what a start you brought us in football. I was just a clunky kid, couldn't hardly run, but you kept pushing on me, and it worked out okay. My teammates, man, like I said, I've got a lifelong friendship with all of you guys. I may not see you for a couple months, maybe some of you for a year, and you could pick up the phone and call any of those guys, and they would be right there for you the next day. So It's, for me, the lessons that I came out of that was how to be a good friend to somebody. And those are the things that last and that I've tried to build my life around, something that I could take further than just football. So with that, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be up here today. Thank you. Do I have to turn my head again?
Tilt your black a little bit, sir. Tilt your black forward so I get the glare off. Ready, 1, 2. You did good this time.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We may not get any Gerald Williams stories out of our next inductee. Everybody has at least one, right? This is Alicia Kellogg Kelly.
Thank you, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here tonight. I'd like to thank Springdale Schools and Springdale Athletics for hosting this great event. Hey, Caroline. None of us would be up here without a lot of help and support from family and friends and coaches and teammates. I would really like to thank my parents. Ever since the day I came home from kindergarten, one day I came home and I said, I'm going to play soccer and I need to sign up for it. So ever since that day, they've spent countless hours driving me across this state, across this country, to practices, games, and tournaments. And to them, I'm very grateful. They always did anything I needed for them, and I'm truly, truly thankful for that. My family, we moved to Springdale just before my sophomore year of high school. So that summer, I met the basketball team and Coach Wright, and I was hearing a lot about Woodcliff runs that would start once school started. So I didn't really know what that was. But we all know Springdale's a pretty flat place, but Coach Wright found the one neighborhood that has some hills on it for us to run in that hot August heat in the afternoon. So we'd run a few miles, and Coach Wright, she's a great coach. Her record definitely speaks for itself with over 500 career wins. But I think one of her greatest strengths was getting us in really great shape, and that all started with those Woodcliff runs. After I'd gotten a few Woodcliff runs under my belt, one day at school, the cross-country coach came up to me in the hallway and handed me a cross-country jersey and said, I'll see you at a meet on Saturday. So that's how I joined the cross-country team. And that first meet was really quite an experience. As I recall, about halfway through the race, Paige Farrell, now Paige Rollins, she was a little ahead of me. She was one of the fastest girls in the state, so I had a good eye on her. But she was slowing down, and that's something that Paige doesn't do in a race ever. And she stopped, and I realized that she was throwing up. And then someone started yelling at her, Paige, run, keep running. Don't stop, run and throw up. And that was her dad yelling at her. So then a little later in that race, another sophomore, Kelly Kirby, now Kelly Sprouse, and we were kind of leading the pack and feeling pretty good. We had the finish line. We could see it. We were like kicking it in, like, we're going to win this thing. One of us was. So we got basically at the finish line, and we realized that there was another half lap to go. So that was a pretty sinking feeling for your first cross-country meet. But we somehow mustered it out and finished that next half lap. And Kelly Kirby and we both finished in the top 20. And I think Paige was actually able to win that race, even with the throwing up. Also, that great basketball conditioning, it also helped me to contribute to the track team. I'm a proud member of the mile relay team that won the state championship. And we also still hold the school record, I'm pretty sure, for the mile relay. But I guess that could be in trouble now that this new fancy track is here. So we'll see how long that stands for. Just a few other coaches to kind of mention. The assistant basketball coach, Coach P, he always had some great words of wisdom ready for us. And Ruben Reyna, he helped out with the cross-country team and the track teams, and he himself is a Olympic world-class athlete, so it's always just a special treat to have him help us train. And that's the kind of thing that Springdale schools can get Olympians to come help their teams train. And also my track coach was Kevin Johnson. He was a really great man, and we all miss him a lot. And last and certainly not least, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. To him, I give all the glory, and I'm so thankful for the many blessings that he's given me. And this has just really been a great time for me to reflect and think about my time at Springdale. I'm so thankful for all the athletics that I was involved in. They shaped me for the rest of my life. And even more importantly, I'm very thankful for my Springdale education. It helped me to excel in college and optometry school, and it just helped me, my whole life. And once again, I'm just very, very grateful to be here and honored. And I do think now that I'm officially in the Hall of Fame, my husband will continue to refuse to ever play me in a basketball game. So, thank you very much.
Miss Kellogg, Miss Kellogg. There we go. Right there, guys. Tilt your back forward just a little bit. There, a little bit more. There we go. Right there. Ready? 1, 2. Yep, we're good. Thank you.
Stories are great, aren't they? We're enjoying those. We're going to enjoy now stories from Epiphany Smith.
Bring this down a little bit. Well, hello, everyone. I'm very honored to be here, and thank you to the athletic board for having me. I would like to say thank you to my wonderful parents, who have always just been the most supportive parents, no matter what it is that I want to do or wanted to do. They were always there to support and haul me all over the country, and just was a great staple in my life. I also want to thank my siblings, Imani, Chrislyn. My brother's not here. He is at Arkansas Tech. He plays football there, so they started today, so he's over there. Miss Maxine, she's just been amazing, has gone to all of my AAU tournaments, has just been there to support me from day one. And I also want to thank Coach Wright. She's just been amazing. I can remember, I've always been small. She got me, I was about 5 foot, weighed about 90 pounds. And I've always been quick and feisty as a basketball player. But when I got to Coach Wright, I can remember, a lot like Alicia, the first day I got there, I was very good at running sprints, very quick. But when I got to HAR-BER, a lot different from some of you who are at Springdale, our nice crosstown rivals, when I got to HAR-BER, she said, okay, we're gonna run around Harbor Meadows. We're gonna run a mile and a half. And I was like, whoa, okay. Haven't ran a mile straight in my entire life. So I got there and I came in dead last. And it was just a very humbling experience for me, making my way from junior high up to high school. So Coach Wright, you've always believed in me. You instilled so many wonderful things that I still take with me. And one of my favorite things about going to HAR-BER and playing and just being in the Springdale athletics is the relationships that I built. I graduated high school with 9 other girls. And to this day, we are still best friends. We talk, we go to each other's weddings. It's just amazing. So I am extremely thankful, beyond anything, that Springdale has given me for the relationships that I built and the connections that I've made. So I'm extremely thankful for that. I'm super nervous up here, so I'm gonna end it here. But thank you to the board, and thank you all for having me here. It's been amazing. So thank you.
To another athletic director.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Just a little bit. Right there. Here we go. Okay. Right here. 1, 2. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I so enjoyed that, I forgot to go take her picture, so I'll get that from you later. Next up, and speaking on behalf of Carol McFerrin, is a guy that was inducted himself, Ron Baker.
Before I start, I know car salesmen are supposed to be long-winded, but I didn't know a tire salesman was maybe longer-winded. What is it about the automotive industry? Man. I'll be nice. How many old boys do you know from Kingston, Arkansas, has been in a national movie, has a day in Springdale named after him? It's going to be happening here in about 6 days. I'm representing a stud, okay? Yeah. And I'm very happy to be able to talk for him. I've known him for years and years, and we've traveled many roads together. And I'm going to try to be nice to him tonight. I spoke at his funeral, but I told a lot of stories on him there, and I better not do that anymore. But the program has covered about half what I was going to say. So anyway, I'm going to say, what took you so long, Rah-Rah? I call him Rah-Rah, and I won't explain to you people who have never heard this story, which I have told 100 times. He was the president of the senior class, and we'd had a meeting in the gym, and he decided he was going to lead a cheer. And he started cheering. Nobody else said a word. They just looked at him. So he is now Carol Rah-Rah McFerrin, and he's been that way now for 50-some years. So if I call him Rah-Rah, that's who I'm talking about. He should have been inducted before me. I really think that. I think he accomplished a lot more in Springdale athletics than I did. I'm not saying I don't appreciate it. No, I did. I was inducted 4 years ago, but I appreciate it very much, and it's quite an honor. But I'd heard that he was saying, I hope I can get inducted, you know. But he said, hey, I don't want to make no speech. He was not a speaker, okay? And I said, Rah-Rah, it ain't a speech, okay? Professional people make speeches. It's just a talk. He said, well, I don't want to make a talk either. And I said, you'll have to. Well, he just didn't know if he wanted to be inducted then. But anyway, it's obvious he ain't going to have to make a speech, is he? I'm going to have to do it again for him. He was a very good athlete. He played football, ran track, and he was also on the boxing team. That man would rather box than eat. I've told him many a time, hey, I'll wrestle with you all day, but I'm not going to box you. And I was smart because he would have whooped my ears, I'll guarantee you. He was good at it. He ran all the sprints on the track team. I'm talking about everything, relays. He played offensive and defensive tackle on the football team at a whopping 165 pounds. Now, I know this day and time, you know, your running backs are 200, but back then, that was still pretty light for an offensive, defensive lineman. But he was tough, he was quick. And he coached about, I think the brochure said 42 years. I was going to give him 45. I know it was between 40 and 50 years. I know he coached a little bit in the youth league after high school before he went into the Air Force. And when he got back in the Air Force, he started coaching youth league, and he coached it for 40-some years. He gave thousands of hours to thousands of young boys in Springdale. How many of you here got coached by Carol McFerrin? Stand up. How many of you? I figured maybe it's more than that even. But anyway, he didn't have a son. So I told him one time, I said, hey, you got to be a man to have a son, rah-rah. And he said, no, you got to be a man to have daughters. So we argued that point for a long time. But I think all his players over the years became his son. He treated them like sons, and I think he thought of them as sons. Most of them played high school ball. Some played college ball. A few played pro ball. We always told Joe Dean Davenport we taught him everything he knew. But we got blessed with some good boys and good players. We've traveled a lot of miles together watching football and track meets and granddaughters, and we have been all over the country together. I wish that he could have been here tonight, but to get this reward, but in person, but I'm sure he's with us, no doubt in my mind. I think he is looking down right now, laughing his head off at me, and very proud, saying, Baker, I told you I didn't want to make a talk, and I didn't have to. But on behalf of his family, I want to thank you very much. He was well deserved for this award.
You get the picture, though. Get the top on the picture.
It doesn't look like it.
No. Okay, guys, right here. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Yep, we're good. Sean.
Thank you.
We're sorry that Carol is not here, but we are grateful for the young man that is here, and his family's here supporting him. And I think most of you know the story of Josh Foner, and he is being inducted tonight. And obviously, he is not in a position to speak, but his brother and sister will speak on his behalf. They'll come forward.
My name's John Michael. I'm Josh's older brother, and I also played sports at Springdale, by the way. Obviously, not as well as my brother, or my sister even, for that matter. Josh growing up has always been someone to one-up me as much as he possibly could. So I got to play in a state championship. Josh got to play in 2 state championships. I made all conference. Josh made all state. Today's my wedding anniversary. Josh gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I appreciate that, Josh. But more than anything, he really just asked me to thank the coaches, thank the teachers, and thank his teammates for just investing in him and really instilling that, don't quit mindset and that attitude into his life. It's what's led to him being so successful on the field. Also in the classroom and then in life as well. And it's that same attitude that he keeps with him to this day as he recovers from his injury. There's a speech by Teddy Roosevelt that's kind of Josh's life motto, if you will, and I was going to read it real quick. It's really short, so I promise it won't take long, but it's called The Man in the Arena. And it goes, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows that in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." So I think that's a pretty good representation of really who my brother is. And to all of you, I just encourage you to be the man or the woman in the arena. So thank you all very much.
I did. Tilt the flag forward. Yeah, right there. There you go. There you are. Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Been a good night, hasn't it? It's great to be together. There is. Yeah, go ahead. My wife and I've lived in Northwest Arkansas for 42 years now. My wife used to teach tennis in Springdale. Many of y'all used to know her as Mari. Her name was Mary Adelaide, so she goes by Adelaide now. And she always told me that there is something very unique about this community. And I think tonight we celebrate the uniqueness of Springdale. It's a great place to be. God has blessed us enormously. We're thankful for the contributions of all these people up here, and we can't wait until next year when we have a chance to salute some former athletes who have been great in the city of Springdale. I'll remind you, for those of you who are not aware of this, that this year in high school football, there is a 0 week. That means that in the non-conference season, there's an open day. And Springdale, on the first week, has an amazing doubleheader. On Thursday night, Springdale High School at Bulldog Stadium will host Robinson High School from Little Rock. They are very, very good. On Friday night, HAR-BER High School at Wildcat Stadium will host Pulaski Academy. They are very, very good. That is quite a Thursday, Friday. That's August 23rd and 24th. So I hope that as we leave here celebrating, we will start celebrating a new year on August 23rd and 24th. As Wayne said, go see plenty of athletic events throughout the 2018-2019 season. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. God bless you all.